Thank you for having me, MMA. It's always a pleasure to attend this event. Um, I'm going to, firstly, thank you, Amit, for bringing up the NVIDIA piece. Just for everybody else, they more than doubled revenues from 26 billion to 60 billion. That's the kind of investment that's going into AI, and that's driving the change. But let's remember, AI is, and especially Gen AI, is about 18, 20 months old. And in that time, it has made massive strides, but as Amit pointed out, it has massive drawbacks. But while we think about those drawbacks, we think about how to handle those issues. The fact of the matter is, AI is really impacting everything today. Okay? So I'm going to quickly go through some of the challenges which I've heard from brands, not trying to preach to you guys. You all know your challenges better than I do. But this some of the stuff I've heard. And then getting into what is the role AI can play in helping in some of those challenges, right? These are some of the statements I've heard from marketers, which is new startups, D2C brands are taking away market share, right? Even while the market is growing, Indian GDP growth is fantastic, we still are seeing these small upstarts gain a lot of market share. And that's partly because traditional marketing is not as powerful as it ever was. Mass media doesn't work as well. Distribution has changed. All of these changes are affecting brands, right? And lastly, and very importantly, first-party data is extremely limited with big brands. And that is a massive challenge when it comes to AI, right? It's becoming harder and harder to get good third-party data with all the kind of rules around privacy, changes with the App Store, all of those things that are happening. First-party data is something which needs to be addressed. If we need to do a better job of AI, if brands will do a better job of AI, they have to address first-party data. So I'll come to some of that, right? The other piece, see, when I came here last year, I spoke about why you should adopt AI, why AI is so important, why is it so transformation and critical. The message from me today is it's already everywhere. If you're not using it, you're falling behind today. This is not a matter of tomorrow. This is not a matter of day after. Every large business that I've spoken to who is forward-looking is using AI across the board, right? Personalization, and Amit gave some great examples, is happening across the board. It only will get deeper, more mass, more scaled, more like how tiny is that sliver that you slice and dice into, right? And whether it is your properties or it is your digital campaigns, everywhere it's there. But the warning piece from my side is largely it's skin deep, right? What I mean by that is getting Shah Rukh Khan to say out a consumer's name in a brand campaign is not really personalization, if you ask me. Yeah, I feel good for a moment that he said my name, but how did the ad change? How did the product or the brand speak to me better? When I go to your digital properties, am I seeing the same stuff as the next guy? How different is it? I mean, if I'm a man, am I still seeing, and I'm shopping for myself, am I still seeing women's products or products for kids? All of those pieces are just not yet. So that's where the challenges are. So better, making things simpler, faster, cheaper, AI is doing that. Every workflow. And I'll talk about the content piece a little deeper in the next slide, has already got impacted, right? So what are we going to do which really moves the needle, right? Whether it comes to campaigns, supply chain, distribution, figuring out, making lesser stockouts, lowering costs of logistics, all of that is happening today. And will keep on happening. This is all process optimization, incremental improvement, and it's great. You must use AI for that, right? But I don't think that is enough. And that's really what I want you to take back today, okay? So here are the next few slides on basically me trying to make you see that. Let's go into the content piece a little deeper. So today, about 30% plus from whatever we've researched of content workflows. And this goes across text, video, audio, everything is already using AI as a part of the workflow, right? From idea generation, scripting, to the AV creation, editing, post-production, special effects, everywhere AI is being used. If you just use AI, the quality of content is not yet something which you'd want to push out, but it gives you a great starting point. It's so much nicer to, not stare when you're writing a report, blank document with the cursor blinking at the top. It's much easier to start with something that already exists, to see different kinds of ideas come to life, and then pick from them and improve them and make them ready to hit market, right? But what it also means, if content creation is going to become so much simpler, that there will be more content, more apps, and more noise. So standing out in this noise is going to be the other challenge, right? So AI will change, has fundamentally already changed the content creation game. Issue is, as marketers, what do you need to do about it? You have to use AI, but now the power of ideas, now the power of insights is going to be that much greater. Because yesterday, the difference between a top brand and a small brand was the quality of advertising would be fundamentally different. You knew when you saw an ad on TV that this is a big brand or not. But that difference is going to drop. Like quality difference of just production value isn't going to be a differentiator. The only differentiator you're left with is ideas and insights, right? And I'm just going to show you, do a quick demo to show you how easy it's become. Okay? So can we switch to the Suno demo? So we're going to all together create a song, right? With lyrics, with music, everything, right? So what I'd like you all to do is, firstly tell me a genre, like Punjabi, Western pop, whatever. Anybody want to say, give me a genre of music? Punjabi, okay, so we go with Punjabi. Punjabi Tadka, let's make it. You want it to be about romance, about breakup, about joy, success, anything. Pick an emotion or joy, okay. So, and let's put it into a location. So, Delhi is too hot, so can we pick something? Sorry? Chandigarh. So, let's try and type this out. Let's do a Punjabi Tadka song about joy in Chandigarh, yeah? And we're doing this live, so it's going to take a little bit of time, but just see the power. You imagine writing jingles. While we figure that one out. What we should see, hopefully, if the sign-in issues are resolved, is the music being created in front of you. And you'll get multiple options for it. You'll get 2. And this is a free account. You can all go there and try it out at suno.com, right? This is not something which I have only access. Everybody has access to it. And that's how easy content creation has become. Have we? Okay, so why don't we come back to that? In the meantime, let me go ahead in the interest of time. And the other bigger challenge, and this is what this is still happening, right? The interfaces have changed. Content consumption patterns, some of this you will have heard in terms of everything is skimmable, people want to consume bite-sized content, all of that. But fundamental shift is this, like when you wanted to get information, you just read, right? Now you just ask questions. You don't no longer go do a Google search. You use something like Perplexity and get answers. Fundamental shift from a process to you have intent, you go move straight to outcome. AI helps you remove that entire workflow and collapse it to a single step. To give you a real life example, which all of you are experiencing, so Google, for example, gives you a list of results, right? So if you search for a taxi, you'll get a list of taxis. Uber just gets you a cab. It doesn't show you a list. So your intent goes straight to outcome. You get into the cab and you go to your location. It doesn't ask you much other than where you want to go, right? We don't even need to watch full videos. AI allows us to take this talk, this entire day. Somebody who's not attended this can just go there and take the entire video and just ask it questions of what was the key highlights on AI. And he'll get all of that in a very easily consumable format. Plus, he can go and see the 3, 5, 7 key moments, and all this is happening with AI. You put the content out there, summarization, figuring out highlights, all of that is just happening automatically. So as content consumption changes, we as marketers need to think, what should our content and our interface look like? It is not enough to just do skin deep AI, as I was saying earlier. You can't just graft on a little chatbot to your existing website and say, oh, I've got AI. Now you can come here and ask questions. But you've not changed the interface really. You've just added one more element onto your interface. Is that how you're telling your consumers to connect with you? Not really. It's just one little box somewhere on your site. That fundamentally is not an AI-first thought process. And that's what I want to talk about next. Are we ready with the Suno demo? So can we switch to that? So this is what it generated. So it did a little image. It has somebody called Awestruck Unplugged 928 who's the creator. All of that is all done by AI. Can we play it and hear it?
Solid shining bright and be the delight. Joy in the air everywhere is just right. Erica in the streets, Bangara in the beat. We're dancing to the rhythm, feeling so complete. Colors in the sky, music that makes us
just look at that, right? This happened in 2 minutes. Go try it out. It's absolutely eye-opening. That music, scripting, everything, lyrics, everything got done. You didn't do nothing but type in 6 words into that little box out there, right? How does this change music consumption? Completely, right? And if we apply this same thought process to our products, we start not just using these tools, but thinking of our products. So can I go back to my deck? So my sincere request to you today is reimagine your products, right? Your digital storefronts. Don't just add on AI, don't graft it on. Go ahead and say that if you could, so how would this work in an ideal world? How would you like it to work? My ideal picture is I go to a site, it knows exactly what I want and shows me that one product and I buy it. Maybe that's asking for too much, but that's the direction. And I'm trying to say, how close can you get to that depending on what your products are, what it looks like, what your consumers are. You can get pretty close. Much like Uber can get very, actually does that simply because the product is a little standardized and all the thing which you really care about is getting from A to B, it is able to deliver to you that one thing that you need. But why can't we all do it for every product that we sell? Think about that. Expand D2C. Unless you have first-party data and you do, Amit spoke about data-driven marketing. Surveys are just too late and too slow for you to catch up with the guys who have first-party data. Imagine you did a great market research, you got great insights, but by the time you implemented that, the other guy had iterated 3 times because he had first-party data. He saw how the trends change. He tried something, saw the change, tried something else, saw the change. That's fundamentally, that speed is what you're competing with. AI, how many of you have seen the 4.0 video? Right? So go see that. That's in 18 months of launch. And you go look at what GPT, what it was capable of when it launched to where it is today. That's how fast the world is moving. You can't afford to be slow. And if you don't have your own data, you are going to be slow. Right? Then content engagement, rethink it. Just creating good, whether it is involving the user from a UGC perspective, those ideas are perfect. But you need to really think that if AI can do so many things, what does your consumer really value anymore, right? He wants engagement and he wants quick engagement. So content will change. And that is one of the other key pieces the marketing function has to hold dear to its heart for the organization. So that's it from me. Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. I'm open. I don't know if I have time for, so I'm open for questions.
You spoke about very rightly so that, with one of the impacts of AI is going to be, the quality difference between campaigns is going to get narrower. What advice do you have, or how do you see, what do marketers or brands have to do in such a scenario to be distinct or to stand out? Or, we're already, I think we've been talking about content clutter for quite some time. And with AI coming into the picture, it's going to only further add to it. So how do brands break from the clutter in such a scenario? Thank you.
So, I mean, firstly, it's your job, not mine.
That's why I said advice.
Yeah, my thoughts. So not the expert here on that, but see, I'm just saying, and I'm talking here as a consumer, what would I like? I would like content which is more tailored to me, which speaks to me, which I relate with, right? And now that is different for many users, right? So today, how do you generate content mostly? And I'm painting with a very wide brush. Everybody does it differently, but at a wider level, you basically think of a great insight and then build one great campaign around it with great production value. And the reason that worked was because you had mass media. If no longer that is the equation, that's not your distribution model, and I am going to consume differently from how you are going to consume the content, and what you want to see is different from what I want to see, then that is how that campaign should work. When we saw that video which had all those Barbies, those stereotypes, all said and done, but the fact of the matter is each Barbie looked different, right? Your campaigns don't. So if you're thinking of one, what is that which will relate to me? And if that is my concept of beauty, then that's what you'll be serving me. But if my concept of beauty is different, I'm a teenager going to a liberal arts college who wants to explore the world, then that may not be my view of beauty at all. And then what are you going to show to me? Right? How does the characters change? How do the clothes change? How do the locations change? How does the text change? Would the script change? All of that changes. So fundamentally, if you cannot, so data gives you the ability to see the slivers very, very clearly, and then create content which works in those slivers, right? So think not of a perfectly crafted campaign, but a campaign one which is more modular, which allows you to change things around and address those different slivers, right? And then you will end up with content which is more relatable to smaller audience. All right. Thank you so much.